So it is almost the end of the year. Tomorrow will be 2012 and not 2011. And I kind of wanted to see how I'm going to be next year in comparison to this year. So I have a couple of questions which I'm going to ask myself, and I'm going to answer them this year, and then next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that.
It's now my 13th year answering these questions. In almost every one of these videos since the first one, I've been sort of resistant to the premise. For one thing, the questions my 12-year-old self came up with are honestly pretty boring. I've grown more cautious about the whole parasocial sharing my life on the internet thing. And every year, I once again have to be haunted by the humiliating memory of who I once was.
What is your favorite color?
I've said purple for a decade, and it is probably still purple, I guess, but this has been an earth tone year for me. I've been in a very, moss green headspace, I'd say.
What is your favorite animal?
Octopus.
What job do you want to have?
I didn't answer this one last year because it wasn't really vibing with my directionless 20s malaise.
I really don't like this question.
Everything I'm doing with my life at the moment would seem to suggest that I want to be a professor. I started a PhD program in cinema and media studies this year. Take from that what you will. My YouTube career wasn't working out, so I was like, where can I release content even less often to an even smaller audience? And the answer apparently was academia.
What do you do often?
I read a lot, I go for walks, I watch movies, I scroll. Lots of scrolling. I've been cooking more.
What is your favorite book? What is your favorite movie? What is your favorite television show?
I always use these questions as an opportunity to talk about some of my favorites that I read or watched in the past year, which is not actually what my 12-year-old self was asking, but that is what I'm doing. Books. A Day in the Life of Abed Salama by journalist Nathan Thrall is a devastating account of a bus crash near Jerusalem that highlights how the tragedy was compounded by the barriers and bureaucracy of daily life for Palestinians under Israeli apartheid. A Prehistory of the Cloud by Professor Tung-Hwei Hu looks at the history of cloud computing in order to explore the gap between our cultural fantasy of the virtual as seamless and immaterial and the physical reality of hard drives, servers, cables, and routers. Clara and the Sun is a sci-fi novel from the perspective of a robot designed to be a friend to a young girl. It was my first introduction to Kazuo Ishiguro, and I will be reading more. It was beautifully written. Movies! I saw the TV Glow is probably the movie from this year that's stuck with me the most. It's a surreal horror film about queerness and TV fandom. I loved both of the Luca Guadagnino films that came out this year, Challengers and Queer, and Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, which is an experimental 1987 film that's a biography of the Carpenters as portrayed by Barbie dolls. Also, my first time watching this wasn't in 2024, but I've spent a lot of time this year thinking about the Eric Andre prank movie Bad Trip, which is pretty good. TV. I think I liked The Curse. I've had almost a year to reflect on it now, and I still don't know what to make of it, but I think I liked it. I watched a lot of Drag Race this year. I watched a lot of 60s Candid Camera episodes. The first few years I made these videos, Doctor Who was a solid favorite, and the show has been fun again this year, which is nice. 73 Yards was the highlight for me.
What music have you been listening to?
According to my Spotify Wrapped, my top artists this year were Lana Del Rey, because I've been putting myself into an LA mindset, Charlie XCX, Sufjan Stevens, St. Vincent, and Jerskin Fendrix, who I learned about from his film scores, but he has an experimental pop album, Winterreise, that I liked a lot.
How is your life right now?
The world feels very bleak currently, but I'd say I'm doing about as well as seems reasonable given the circumstances. It's been a year of change for me. I moved to LA for grad school, so it's been a hectic few months. I like the program, I've met cool people, and it's nice to have a bit more direction than I have for the past few years.
How do you think your life will be at this time next year?
I'll still be in LA. I hope I'll feel a bit more settled, both with being a grad student and socially.
What did you say about that question last year, and were you correct?
Last year, I was being vague because I didn't want to publicly say that I was applying to PhD programs until I was accepted. I'll likely be living in a new city, so I hope that'll be going well. if that's the case. I am indeed living in a new city. It's going well so far. I also said that I wanted to make more YouTube videos in 2024. I hope to post more next year. I did not do that. I'm now on a 2-year streak of only one main channel video per calendar year. I do, again, hope to post more next year, but I'm also busy, so no promises. Other New Year's goals. I want to consistently read a few pages of a book before bed, which I used to do, and then it got replaced by Twitter and TikTok. And I want to start a habit of writing a little bit every day. Happy New Year. Goodbye.